This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call the meeting, tree board meeting on March 21st, 2024 to order. Roll call, please.
Yep. Andy Karowski.
Here.
Jim Famering.
Yep.
Ralph Blitzstein.
Here.
Mary Lemron. Here.
Let's stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Action on the agenda. I have any comments or concerns? Otherwise, I'll take a motion.
A motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
Mary. Action on the minutes, on the last minutes from the last tree board meeting. Anybody have any questions on that? If not, let me ask for a motion.
Move to approve.
Jim, second?
I'll second.
Action items. Consider, discuss, act on residential request to remove tree at 1647 Lily Drive. Jim?
Thank you, Andy. We received a request from the resident at 1647 Lily Drive to remove a street tree at that property. The street tree is a little leaf linden, approximately 13 to 14 inches in diameter. It was planted by the village in 2002. The resident, Ms. Irene Ward, her primary concerns with the tree are there's Japanese beetles that cause some damage in late summer, and the ability to keep grass growing in an acceptable fashion beneath the tree were the two concerns that she had presented to us. I did look at the tree. There are some pictures that I took, and I was actually able to, when I looked on Google, the first picture with the leaf on picture is Google Street View taken last August. So you can see the condition of that tree at some point in August. I don't know if it was the beginning of the month or the end of the month. And I do note a little bit of, if you look on the upper part of the crown, a little bit of Japanese beetle damage, kind of the tannish colored leaves. And they kind of like the sunny exposed parts of the tree, so that's not atypical to see that type of damage, especially on lindens. The Japanese beetle do favor them a little bit. And then the second picture is a picture taken earlier this month. So you can kind of see a comparison between the leaf on and the leaf off of that particular tree.
It's a nice looking tree.
Yeah, it is.
A nice canopy.
Yeah.
I thought it would look healthier than the maple that's sitting next to it.
Yeah, I did too.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
I drove by it.
Yes.
I did too. It was hard to find to put that place. That's where Lily was.
Yeah.
It wasn't where I could, right where I thought it was, but it took a while to find it.
Do they come back every year?
The Japanese beetles?
Or
Yeah.
do they eat and leave?
No, you really kind of have to break the life cycle. And probably the easiest way to do that is to treat your lawn for the white grubs.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to target the adult beetles when they're active and
At
flying.
least every other year when the beetles are in the area or whatever, for the grub worms. At least every other year.
Yeah.
Not every year. You don't need every year, but at least every other year.
Okay.
At least.
That's good to know.
That's why I went to a seminar on that. That's what they told us at least.
Okay.
Ever get rid of them?
Probably not. 25 years ago, they really weren't common in the area, and slowly over time, they've kind of built their populations. The thing with Japanese beetle is it's a cosmetic disease, and they do foliate late in the summer, late in the growing season, when the trees are basically starting to taper off and shut down for winter. the beetles will just skeletonize or eat the green part of the leaves. If they do enough damage, sometimes some of the leaves will fall off. But as far as it being a tree killing pest, Japanese beetle is not that. Very different than, let's say, emerald ash borer. I think we've talked about enough over.
Not a gypsy moth.
Or,
Yeah.
so Tim, we had a tree like this at Belmar, one that's smaller that we had transplanted when an addition at Belmar appeared, a linden. And it was really strange. It healthy and all. Last year it looked like it was dead, right in probably about July, August. And we thought we were gonna have to cut it down. And all of a sudden in the fall, it started budding and the buds right now look great. I think it's gonna be okay. And I didn't see anything with the bugs on this one until after it was all stripped, after every leaf was gone. I didn't see anything like it.
Interesting.
But you're really right about treating your lawn, because I treated mine I used to have a lawn on the garden, usually from about the 10th of July to the 10th of August. Before that, you don't see them, and after about the 10th or middle of August at the latest, and they're gone. But since I've been doing this, I've only got,
Hi,
Hello.
I might be not in the right place.
No, you are. Come on in.
I've only got 10% of what I had before. Before I used to
We
treat
were
the
just
lawn.
starting on your agenda
I was
item.
waiting up there, I was in the wrong place.
Oh,
For the last 15 minutes, and I ran into a relative, and she said, you're in the wrong place. I said, oh, well.
Welcome.
Irene, if you just want to sign in right here. Oops, just trying to make sure the pen works.
Does this, how many trees are affected?
Glad you found it.
Or just,
Yeah.
how do
I
they
was sitting
get
outside
to
the
this tree?
stream, and I thought I could even find something.
Well, Japanese
So
beetle
really,
kind of
she
has
said, oh,
its favorite
you're in the wrong place.
They fly.
things that they like
Yeah,
to
I thought,
feed
well, you didn't have
on.
it.
Birch, roses,
Roses.
lindens.
Wow.
They like horse chestnuts,
Raspberries.
raspberries. Yeah, so they kind of have their favorite foods.
You set those traps?
Yeah.
The traps work.
Beans and like beans and
For the roses, they work.
potatoes.
Yeah. So, kind of the issue here is, we do have a written policy that has been, reviewed by this committee as well as approved by our park board. And, you can read that entire policy, and specifically, there's 3 reasons that we will remove trees. They're dead, they're unhealthy, which harbors an insect or disease which could reasonably expect to severely injure or harm the tree.
That's why I'm here.
Or any tree which by location, if we're looking at development, it could create a hazard at fall for whatever reason. Some of the reasons, if we look at the second half of that policy, to not remove trees, and specifically when we talk about number 3, trees that constitute an inconvenience to the public by virtue of leaf, twig, fruit, drop, act as a source of allergies, cause root blockage, or prevent the growth of turf beneath the canopy of the tree. So that is the written policy that we as a village have considered and approved. And this is my guide that I use daily when dealing with these situations. Now, as a committee, it's certainly your prerogative to make exceptions to this policy. And that's kind of where we're at.
I would recommend, I don't know if you want to open the floor to allow Irene to
Yes.
talk. We would need a motion
Make
for that.
motion to open the floor for discussion.
Second.
Second.
You need all in favor?
Yeah.
You got all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Well, I don't know.
So we're here, we're covering your tree situation right now. Tim just gave his presentation
Yes, I
as
was
to what
listening to the.
his policies and stuff are. So now we open the floor, so you're welcome to talk if you want to have any say or comment.
I've been there, seeing Tim. I've seen him only once, But I went to see him 4 times because of my trees, and he never is much got back to me, even to call or do anything or come to look. But I do know the street up. I thought a man, he came, actually brought me a piece of paper. He said, all they did is call. I said, I can call all I want. When my trees are bad, theirs weren't even bad when they cut them down. I don't get it on Carroll Lane. I live right up. Really, the neighbors, I think, annoyed with the tree which the village put in from the Japanese beetles. I have so much work with that tree. The beetles, the leaves get eaten out and they're all on the ground and all getting to the neighbors and everywhere else. It's really a dirty mess. And the other trees probably, my husband planted that maybe 35 years ago, but he passed away in the meantime. But the tree is old and bad and crooked. When one time we had a storm and it bended, okay, I let it be, but I liked him. If they'd be good enough, maybe to get rid of them.
Have you tried doing things to treat the tree?
Oh, yes. It's $140 every time they spray the tree. And then he told me, the lighter, he said, if I don't do the grass, it kills all the grass. Well, I can't do all that. I live there alone now. My husband passed away. I'm all alone. I have a lot of, I need people in the winter, in the summer, and everything to clean up and do, but it's a mess.
The grass is probably a more important treatment.
It's bad because I went lighter in the fall and I said, you need to do something about my lawn. When he said, well, because of Japanese beetles, he said, they get in if you don't do the grass. They own all the grass. Now my grass looks terrible by now. My husband probably looking down and thinks, what am I doing down here? Nothing, I guess. But so he said, I asked him to come out and see if, do the lawn. The lawn needs to look better. I said, it looks terrible. And so he said, well, let's wait till the weather gets a little cooler. When it rains, maybe it come up. Well, nothing came up.
Did you ever mention treating it in the spring for the grubs? The grubs, Japanese beetles, you get the grubs in the grass, and that's what
I
creates
had it done in the spring last few years because, Liza does, like I said, they spray. There's only the one trees what had beetles when that one was planted here that one year. When that had the beetles, we had no beetles in any of our trees till that tree came in. And there, that tree, my husband called it his little tree, always next to it. Beetles fall on there too, Japanese, and they eat same stuff, everything. So they do go a little on other, but not on all. They don't go on. They go on mainly on the, because the neighbor down the street has 2 of them, and I think the VOA complains because of it. But I remember who planted our neighbor. I know her, we have friends. They lived there 20 years, but they moved a long time ago. So
Irene, Liza, they treated your tree for a Japanese beetle, correct? Liza, they treated your tree?
yes,
And they're a pretty reputable company. Did they say anything about treating, like Jim said, for the grubs that are in the lawn that cause that's what the beetles are going after? Did they say anything about treating the lawn?
yes. I had that. He said, if I don't treat the lawn, it's going to ruin all the lawn. The lawn still ruined. From last year, I said, I'm not paying $104 for the tree every year. When I came back, the spring comes and there they again. And every year I'm supposed to do that. I'm not going to do that.
But you'd have to treat your lawn every year for the grubs, not just the tree. You've got to treat the whole lawn.
I don't know. I imagine they do. I call Liza.
But it's a special application. I've got Liza myself, and they give you 4 applications. But if you want the 5th one, the grub one, you pay extra for that.
Yes.
And they do come and they do that usually in May, sometime or 1st of June. They put the grub killer down.
Yeah, but the Japanese beetles don't go away from that. They back the next year. They every year back.
But I think if your lawn care company is treating the beetle, they should give you some type of guarantee they're going to slow it down, or with this year and next year, they should treat it or how many years you need to get rid of the problem, because they're a pretty good company. Unless they're not doing the right treatment, which I think they are, maybe it takes more than one treatment. I would probably ask so.
I'm sure you have to do every year.
Well,
Then last year, then I said, I'm not going to do that no more. I just let it be. I wanted to respond. So I had called him and wanted to talk to him, but I never got to talk to him. And he never came by. He didn't answer me. But the lady was up the street on Caroline. She told me all she did is call. And them trees weren't bad. They're supposed to be bad, I thought. I said, please, they say they got to be dead before they cut them down. But they weren't dead. They're still wood laying there. They just did that not long ago. So I saw it, so I went there to ask how did they get that all cut down. It was only a husband and a young couple. And she said, well, I called you. She gave it to me, then she brought it over. The husband brought it over. He gave me that. She called there and told them, and she never even saw anybody, anything. They cut down the trees. What? How come I can't have that done? I said.
Well, it could be a different kind of tree that needs to be cut down because it's disease and it's dying. It could be that.
They weren't dying, he said.
What was the address on it?
That it's right on Caroline. When four stops, it's the second house. There's two houses there. They cut down trees right there, like the second one in and the fourth one in. Right up on. I live on Lily, which is off Clyde, and it's right off Clyde on Pearl. I don't know the number to tell you the truth. He didn't put it down.
Yeah, one was a dead honey locust, the other one was a walnut tree, which
They cut that because
causes a lot of
the wood
issues.
was still laying there and everything. That's
Yeah.
how I know. And so I had asked them, you know. And I asked some other people, did you have permission? I've been asking everybody since last year. How come I can never get permission? I said, when people all get trees cut down, I'm stuck with some ugly trees there.
So, Irene, this was the first year they treated it?
No.
They
The
treated it
trees?
last year for leaves.
Oh, they've been treated for years. It's not the first year. I've been complaining about it for the last 4 years. Like, I
Well,
can't
Liza?
get a hold of him. He doesn't even bother to come by. I knew right away who that is when he gave me that paper. I came to see you, I think. Didn't I? I recognized you now. The fourth time I was trying to get, I said the fourth time I was getting a little angry. I said, tell him I'm going to have the trees cut down if he doesn't come by or does anything or talk to me. That's what I said, but he still didn't come. I'm too old to argue anymore. I'm going to be 87 years old. What people will do all that? You know, it's.
God bless you.
Honey?
God bless you.
It'd be
Yeah.
nice to get a report from Liza themselves, that we could see it for everything they've done to this tree, to see why it isn't improved or.
Oh, the lawn it just spreads like from the tree there, the lawn. And then they dug up that lawn, two last year, and then they just threw stuff in and little grass on. That really didn't do good either. When they dug that big hole here and did whatever they did. And then they just threw stuff in, and I noticed the neighbor, he was putting dirt on it and everything, black dirt and trying to grow grass. But they didn't do the job on that. Whoever did that, I don't know. I mean, I lived there 40-some years and we never argued about anything. My husband and I, we did follow all the rules, everything. People don't follow the rules here. They leave the garbage where they're not supposed to be. They do this where it's not supposed to be. And we are law-abiding citizens. We all never ever did that. But it doesn't pay, you know why? I got my husband passed. I had surgery right shortly after. The daughter drove me home when it was the evening already and parked the car on the street there. And then she forgot to bring it up. In 48 years, we never parked the car on the street. She forgot to bring it up. She got a $25 ticket that night. I came down here to pay it. And I said, how are all these other cars? I went to talk to the neighbors what left the cars for the last 5 years sitting out there. I asked him if he had a permit because he can let it sit there. He said, no. I said, I'm not going to tell them who leaves the cars out. It's their problem. I'm not going to say our neighbor does this or that. It's not my neighbor, it's part of it. And he said, no. He said, oh, he felt bad. He said, I can't believe they did that. Yes. First time ever, I think we did something. I was sick and the thing when the daughter then forgot to bring the car up. She had the tickets that night. And the Ben right on the street, 5 years in a row, was still sitting there, no tickets. Now, how is that right? I put it on I texted the police here. He texted back. The thing he said, I'll tell you. It was okay what he said. He said, well, we do have rules for that. I said, only to some people? What are the rules? I said, by me? But not once we did something. So I was unhappy about those things. But I don't care, I'm too old to argue with anything anymore. I said, I hate to move, but I have to.
I think the trees.
Okay, I'm in charge. Who's in charge? I don't know. He's in charge? Okay.
For today, yeah, I guess, but my thoughts on it are the tree, it's being treated, it's not
He's
dead.
ugly.
It's not, the
That's
tree's
all
not.
that stuff what falls down.
Yeah.
I see crazy.
I've experienced these trees on locations that I work on. They come back and they're resilient, and if they're treated properly, they're gonna be just fine.
But
Your tree,
it'd be fine.
yeah, it'll be fine.
I
But
believe that.
they treat the lawn correctly, with the bugs, beetles like with the grubs that are in the lawn. And I'm not saying your company isn't treating it right, I'm just saying something's wrong here. I think you should give it a chance.
The neighbors just got theirs done. They could because they're so far back. They just took them all down. That was easy. And then they had all this bag singing on there trying to catch all these beetles and made everything. They got tired of doing that. They just cut them down. But there's not. If we would have known 40-something, in 1975, we built the house there. If we would have known that you couldn't take that down, we wouldn't have put the trees there. Why don't they tell people when they move here? My husband was in the military for 20 years, and we came the year before and we had him build the house. So when he retired that year, so we had a place there. But nobody told us there were things we couldn't do. Except when that weather came, I knew the garbage can shouldn't go and all the things, so we followed the rules. But we didn't know nothing but the trees. Because there was nobody else in the neighborhood. I asked all the neighbors who called them about the tree. There's only one person she knew. So it was easy to pick.
I think we should take a vote on whether or not to cut it down, but at the same time, I don't think it should be cut down. I think it should be given a chance for them to treat the lawn and treat the tree.
Doesn't look nice.
Because we need every tree we can get that's healthy, and this tree is not unhealthy. It's got a little problem with beetles go on rose bushes, they go on everything.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the
I know
problem.
that. Sometimes
So they gotta be treated.
When the summer's there, every year you can't keep up with the flowers, it would stay or something. It's terrible.
Somebody like Silver looking at. Does Lizer do
They do shrub.
They did mine.
the trees?
I would like to get a better report from Lizer. And I don't even have a problem, Tim, if you wanted me to on my own time, meet with them there and see what we could do. I have no problem volunteering my time to go there, find out what Lizer's doing for the lawn, to eliminate the beetles in the tree. That's what I would do on my own time.
Yeah, it's my understanding that treating the grubs is going to be the best way. So if
Yes.
you do an application on the tree, yes, you'll catch what's there at that particular point in time, but
Not what's in the
they're
ground.
pretty mobile. So in a couple of days, if there's other ones from that weren't on the tree at that particular time, they can still fly in, So that's kind of the problem with Japanese beetles. They do fly and they're mobile.
More than
So I think that would be better, I guess, than taking the vote. Cut it down. Unless you want that.
It's up to you guys. Yeah, I'd be happy to call them. Sure.
Either that or I can too. Whatever. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they're treating the grubs in spring.
Right.
Weeds and weed.
Right. And it sounds like you've had good success in managing the grubs.
I did the same thing. I reduced it to about 20%.
Mhm.
So
Which that's pretty tolerable, manageable, I
Yeah.
think.
Exactly.
So I think that's what we should take. Irene?
Do you have a
Yes.
motion?
Yeah, I need a motion.
Hey, like, you want to ask her if she's comfortable with that? Because she'd probably have to come back to
Yeah,
talking about extending it to another meeting.
Could you come back for another meeting after Tim has had a chance to discuss with Liza what they're doing properly or improperly or whatever they're doing so that we can get this figured out.
Why do I gotta have so much trouble getting tree cut down? Other people, they don't even come and look. I don't get it.
It's a healthy tree, that's the issue.
It's not healthy,
It
it's
is.
terrible.
It is.
You looked at it?
I looked at it.
Yeah.
It's mine?
And I look at,
Yes, I
I
looked
do
at
too.
your tree.
I do too. It looks nicer than the maple that's right next to it. I was there today.
Next door, there's no trees. They cut them all down.
No, I looked at your tree last week.
You have maple in your yard, Irene.
Well, how about them on Carroll Lane? Nobody went there to look, they just cut them down.
That's a different story, different type of problem. Trees there.
Irene, why don't we find out
Otherwise,
what,
Andy, I would be, if you want to meet with Liza on site, with Irene, if they're willing to do that, maybe we can meet on site and see what they might have as far as management options.
yes. Irene, what do you think of that? Tim and I myself meets with your company to find out what's going on with this tree.
It's fine.
Do you mind? Then
I don't
we can
care.
revisit it things don't work out, we can do that at another meeting, but I think we should talk to these guys and see if they're, like you said, treating the grubs like you do on your lawn. You have the same company, you're happy, you have no problems. So I think that's probably what we should do. You for that, Irene, or you
Yeah.
okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, first, we make a motion.
One way or another, I guess.
Okay. First, we need to make a motion to close the floor because it's currently open.
Yes.
And
I
then we can
agree
make,
or not.
Okay.
What they want anyway.
Well, we ask for a motion to close the
I'll
floor.
make a motion.
Give me a second. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
opposed. We need a motion.
yep, then you're looking for a motion for an on-site
Site visit.
meeting with Liza and
And
Tim and Irene and Andy.
I was gonna take somebody else this year. Personally, I didn't sign up with him this year yet. Because usually I pay in the first of the year for the whole year, but I didn't this time. And I think I wanted to go with somebody else. I got something in mail from that one company. My son said they were pretty good, and I thought maybe I'd switch.
Well, she could choose the company.
Yeah, if you have a company, otherwise I have some recommendations.
Good, I don't think it came. My son thought they
Well, then we would meet with those
maybe
people.
they do better.
Correct, Tim? Whoever she shows us.
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll meet with them. Irene, if you decide you're not gonna go with Liza, let us know.
Yeah.
And if whoever you chose, let us know so we can get them on the same program to kill the grubs, so you don't have this
Lawn
problem.
green or something, it's called green something. Yeah, something like that. It came, I think I get from them every year from different people, and I always stick with the same one, and I thought, well, maybe I should switch ones.
And if you want, Irene, I can bring one of my companies in that I deal with that I know are very good. And they can just give me a free estimate and a thought on what's going on with your tree, okay?
The neighbors are not happy. My neighbors, they have to clean up all these dead leaves all come along. I hire somebody in November for $300, they pick up leaves in 1 month.
So
I mean, it's, I don't blame them.
I think we can get this solved if we have an on-site meeting, Irene, Tim and I and whoever you choose, or I'll bring somebody free of charge, free estimate to look at it. And then we can make a decision there. How's that sound?
Fine, I guess, what can I do?
Well, it's a healthy tree, even though you don't think it is, it is. These guys looked at it and they know what's going on. I
He's
think we should,
probably 40 years old.
yeah, well, why don't we do this, as soon as we get past this snow here, Tim, when you get back from Mexico, does that work?
Absolutely.
Tim will be on vacation. When he gets back, I'll talk to him. We'll make a scheduled appointment. We'll call you, make sure it's good for you, and we'll go from there.
Who are you here?
I'm a tree board member. I'm acting tonight. The other guy's gone. So I'm a member of the tree board. I have a landscape and tree business that I cut down trees and plant trees. Been a member of the tree board for a while here, so, yeah. So I make a motion.
Yep, so we would need a motion then for an on-site meeting with Irene and the company of her choice, or a couple companies, however she wants to handle it.
And I'll ask for that motion now.
So move.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Good deal. Do we have Irene's contact number where we can contact her?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Just write right under your name, please.
Okay. Irene, I think that'll work out. We get a chance to meet with you on site. How's that sound? Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. Me.
Department reports.
Pardon?
Department reports.
Yes, me. Department reports, Recreation and Forestry Department reports.
The March department report for Park Recreation and Forestry is attached. A lot of stuff going on. One of the big questions is the spring, summer brochure with all of our activities, swim lessons, and et cetera, et cetera. We just got our hard copies in the office today, which means that the other ones are, as they say, in the mail. So those should be showing up in your mailboxes shortly.
Well,
A lot
I
of good.
wanted to say one more thing. Was I don't mind hiring somebody to take them down if the village doesn't want to do that because of money wise or something. But that, I still would want the trees gone.
Maybe cheaper, Irene, I'll be honest with you, to treat the tree correctly and get it done.
No,
right
it won't be cheaper. They would have to do the whole grass and the trees. I don't think it's $140 every time on one tree every year. And then the rest of it is God knows how much. Cheaper to cut them down.
We'll figure it out.
And that brochure, as I was saying, has all of our programs in there for the upcoming summer. It's got our summer concerts, our food truck rallies, all the fun stuff that we do throughout the year. So be looking for that. It is available on the village website if you would like to look at a PDF copy of that same publication. Forestry related, spring tree orders have been finalized with the supplying nurseries. We've got some exciting things to do there. The EAB removal projects are set and ready to go for the contractor to mobilize to our community. He was hoping to do that probably a little bit later this spring. Probably starting with the street trees. We did a couple
I read
small.
all the papers when I get home. Take a bit. Go ahead.
We did a couple small EAB ash removal projects over on Hanson Road near the Dutchman's Creek that comes through there. A small woodlot, I don't know, maybe a quarter acre. It was all ash, and then we kept the cottonwoods that were in that woodlot to try to retain some canopy cover. The reason we did that is that is street right of way, public right of way. And we have had some storm damage and trees fall out that we've asked to go clean up. And I'd rather just get the project done at one fell swoop, take care of it, restore the site, be done with it. So that's kind of why we did that one. And then we have another small one that we're ready to go. It's adjacent to Veterans Park on the DOT right of way for US 41. And that site was a little bit too wet to get equipment in there last week. So we'll have to wait till the summer to get in there. Still have a couple projects on the Dutchman's Creek Conservancy area. We did not get any significant frozen ground this winter to do that, which is a requirement for that project to happen. So unfortunately, looks like we're going to be hoping for some a little bit, unfortunately, colder weather next winter so we get some frozen ground and get that project done. And then we also have the park trees at Waterford and Valley View. Those two projects are ready to go as well.
Okay. Staff comments.
I think that was all kind of wrapped into
Oh,
one.
no, sure. Items for next agenda.
I have none.
None. Okay. If that's all we got here, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move with adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good deal.